Hey everybody, HomeSliceHenry here, and in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at some really fun battles in the Kanto Cup featuring Shadow Shiny Pincer. Pincer is a pure bug-type Pokemon with the moveset of Fury Cutter, X-Scissor, and Close Combat. Pincer is extremely attack-weighted, meaning that it can output a massive amount of damage, but you absolutely need to save shields for it. So without further ado, let's hop into the matches and check out Shadow Shiny Pincer in action in the Kanto Cup. Hopping into the first match, leading Lapras into Alolan Sandslash. This is a pretty neutral lead, so I am going to be staying in here to start because my backline doesn't do great against Alolan Sandslash when shields are up. I'm able to fire off the Surf, but as you see, Alolan Sandslash does have some nice bulk to it, so it's able to absorb the Surf damage pretty easily and then fire back with the Bulldoze. Thanks to the new legacy move of Shadow Claw, Alolan Sandslash does have a significantly better matchup here, as the Shadow Claws do allow Alolan Sandslash to KO with the second Bulldoze. At this point, I'm just going to let this go and instead choose to get farm on Shadow Pincer, because Shadow Pincer with energy is incredibly deadly. We'll have to see what they have in the back. It's Pidgeot, and that's bad news. I am going straight for the close combat. Do they respect the damage? They do not! Almost one-shotting the Pidgeot, and in the back they have Dragonair. These Dragon Breaths are really going to add up, but I do have an energy lead. I just need Beedrill to be able to get to 3 X-Scissors. My opponent throws on alignment and gets me an extra Poison Jab. That could be massive. They fire off the Aqua Tail, and I'm going to fire off another X-Scissor. If I can get to a third, I should be in a very good spot. They shield. It's a race. We're able to get there, and this will be taking out the Dragonair, and they just have the low health Pidgeot in the back. Pidgeot farms down. We still have the Pincer, and that is a good game. Hopping into the next match, sending Lapras into Shadow Hypno. Not the greatest lead, but I am going to be staying in here so I can hopefully keep it away from my Beedrill in the back. I'm going to farm up and throw on good timing so they're only getting 1 free turn of energy. Surf isn't going to be lethal from this range, but will do a solid chunk of damage. I farm up and they throw just before I'm able to reach a Surf. I do tank a Thunder Punch here, and then I'm going to go for the next, but they end up switching into their own Lapras. I'm going to farm up and go straight for the Skull Bash, hoping to either do big damage or grab a shield, and I do grab the shield. Now I'm going to bring in Beedrill because I really did not want my Lapras to get farmed down. They have a ton of energy here. I'm calling that they're only going to throw a Surf, but they go for the Skull Bash, and that does massive damage. I think I can actually get the 2 X-Scissors here, and that will be doing more damage than 1 Drill Run. So I am able to reach double X-Scissor. It's not going to be enough to KO, so I am now going to have to heavily rely on Shadow Pincer to try and close out this match. In comes Pincer, farming up, and Lapras is going to be firing off a move. I have to shield everything here. Shadow Pincer is extremely glassy. I'm just going to keep farming up, switch, and the catch of the Surf onto my own Lapras. Now I can save a shield, and I have a massive amount of energy. In comes Hypno, and I'm going straight for the X-Scissor. This will be taking out the Hypno if they let it through, which they do. We'll have to see what they have in the back. We know they have the very low health Lapras. What is their third? And it's Alolan Sandshrew, and this game is over. Shadow Pincer going to be able to reach double close combat. We take down the Sandshrew, and that is a good game. Hopping into the next match, going up against fellow content creator Though Tactical. We lead Lapras into Hypno. Unfortunately, this is the non-Shadow Hypno, which means that it is going to be able to win the Zero Shield. Because even though we get to 2 Surfs before they get to 2 Thunder Punches, 2 Surfs are not enough to KO, whereas the second Thunder Punch will be enough to take out my Lapras. He overfarms quite a bit and fires off just before I'm able to reach that second Surf. As I mentioned, I do tank 1, but I will not take the second, so I fire off the Surf just before he's able to reach that second Thunder Punch. That is going to get his Hypno quite low. And here, he chooses to overfarm so that way he can limit the amount of farm my next Pokemon gets, which is a very nice play. I'm going to let the Lapras go and get ahead on energy with Beedrill. In the back, he has a Alolan Sandshrew, which is a very, very cool pick, and a pretty nice one to see for my Beedrill, because of course I do have access to the super effective Drill Run. So I'm going to farm up and go straight for the Drill Run, hoping that he decides to let it through, which he does, and then he's going to fire off another Night Slash. I should be able to tank this, and then it is Shadow Pincer time. In comes Shadow Pincer. In the back, he has a shadow of his own. He has Shadow KANTO Sandslash. And this is honestly a pretty scary Pokemon to see, because even those Night Slashes are going to be doing massive damage from the KANTO Sandslash. A very, very cool team running a Sandshrew and a Sandslash, but we're going to see, can Shadow Pincer clutch this? I fire off the X-Scissor. X-Scissor is going to get his final shield, and it's a CMP tie, so I have to give up mine. And now it's a race. Pincer versus Sandslash. We're able to get to the X-Scissor, and that will be game over. X-Scissor takes down the Sandslash. We farm down the Sandshrew, and that is a good game. Hopping to the next match, picking up a Nightmare lead Lapras into Magneton. My entire team loses to this thing. I save switch into Beedrill, and my opponent switches into Shadow Alolan Marowak. And this may actually give me a chance. If I can get shield advantage and an energy lead, I may be able to take it out. Marowak goes for a farm down, but they underestimate Beedrill. Beedrill able to take down the Marowak and win switch advantage and shield advantage. Back in comes Magneton. I'm not able to get to the drill run, but I'm hoping that they think I did. X-Scissor does get the final shield, and now Shadow Pincer is in a prime position to sweep. I'm going to shield whatever they throw here. They go for a Zap Cannon, which is going to debuff me. I farm up, they go for the catch attempt, and in comes Hypno, and this game is over. Shadow Pincer is going to be able to finish this one out. X-Scissor lands, opponent sees the writing on the wall, and concedes the match. Hopping to the next match, sending Lapras into yet another Hypno lead. I believe that's a third we've seen now in 5 games, so Hypno lead proving to be very common in the Kanto Cup. The nice thing for me is that if they're leading Hypno, typically they're weak to fighting in the back, which should make Shadow Pincer very good in the endgame. Playing this out the same way that I did previously, tanking the Thunder Punch and firing off the Surf. This is the non-Shadow Hypno. The Surf isn't going to be enough to KO, but I should hopefully be able to get some nice farm here. But then my opponent is going to overfarm to make sure that I don't leave with a lot of farm. That is quite unfortunate. I'm going to bring in the Shadow Pincer, farm down to get a bit of a head start on energy. We'll have to see what they do have in the bag here. And they have an Alolan Sandslash. This is really good. I'm going to farm up to the close combat and bait with the X-Scissor, hoping for the shield, and we get it. That is huge. If we can double bait, I should be able to outpace them and fire off the close combat for the KO. We shield up an Ice Punch, and I'm going to be firing off another X-Scissor. Come on, please shield, and they do. This is big. Shadow Pincer now set up to be able to outpace and reach the close combat. They go for the Ice Punch, farming up, and I'm able to get there, and this is going to be goodbye Alolan Sandslash. In the back, they have Lickitung, and I immediately switch into Beedrill to reset the debuff on the Pincer. Beedrill isn't going to appreciate the lick damage, and the body slams are really going to add up as well. I'm going to fire off the Drill Run and then hopefully be able to reach an X-Scissor. A Drill Run plus an X-Scissor should hopefully put it into farm down range, but I do get outpaced. Moment of truth. Is this body slam enough to KO? It is not, and I'm able to get off the last second X-Scissor. That is massive. I believe this should put it into Fury Cutter farm down range. It's going to be very close. Pincer versus Lickitung. Pincer farms down, and that is a good game. Hopping into the next match, setting Lapras into Snorlax. Not the greatest lead ever. I'm going to stay in here to start, wait for them to throw some energy, and then I'm going to save switch into the Beedrill to try and bait out their best response to a bug type. Snorlax fires off a move, just a body slam. I bank the energy, and in comes Beedrill. Beedrill farming up, and they bank a ton of energy and bring in Pidgeot. This is quite unfortunate because this is not a matchup that I'm able to flip. Pidgeot is going to be able to fully farm me down here and leave with a move loaded, which is not what I'm hoping to see. Able to land an X-Scissor, but I fall just short of a third. I know they win CMP, so I just go for the extra. I'm hoping they Feather Dance me, but they full send the Brave Bird, and now Shadow Pincer is getting absolutely melted by Gus. What do they have in back? It's a Shadow Nidoqueen, and that is a good game. Hopping into the next match, setting Lapras into Alolan Sandshrew. This is a pretty nice lead for the Lapras, so I'm more than happy to stay in here. They're going to be firing off Night Slash after Night Slash, but Lapras can tank these for days. They fire off the Night Slash. Thankfully, they do not get the boost, and I'm going to be firing back with the Surf. Surf does quite a bit of damage. A second Surf may actually put them into Ice Shard farm down range. They fire off yet another Night Slash. I'm able to tank it, and I'm firing off Surf number 2. This will be getting them very low. They decide to let it through. Sandshrew getting low, and they're gonna fire off another Night Slash. I think I can farm down from this range with Beedrill. So I am gonna switch, bring in the Beedrill, they save it for later, and in comes Shadow Lapras. I'm gonna farm up and go for the X-Scissor on what should be a CMP tied to their Surf. Gets the shield, and it is CMP, so they're not able to sneak. I am going to match shields here, because if possible, I do want to try and get that final shield. So I'm going to farm up, go for CMP again, but this time, they wise up, and they get the extra Ice Shard through. We're able to land the Drill Run, and they're going to fire off their Surf. But this will set up Shadow Pincer for a very nice farm. Shadow Pincer able to farm down, loaded with energy, and in the back, they have Alolan Muck. And this is actually a Snarl Alolan Muck as well, so they're not applying a lot of fast move pressure. I farm up, and I am going to go for the X-Scissor bait here. X-Scissor gets the shield, and now we can very safely close combat. Hello, Alolan Muck. Goodbye, Alolan Muck. Shadow Pincer closing it down, and that is a good game. Hopping into the next match, sending Lapras into Alolan Marowak. I'm definitely happy to catch this on the lead because my back Pokemon really don't appreciate those fire spins. I will overfarm slightly and fire off the Surf. They don't have to shield this, and they don't, and that does some very nice chip damage. Marowak is going to be firing off a move. I don't have to shield this either. I tank the Shadow Bone, go for the Surf, but they make a fantastic catch, able to catch my Surf onto their own Lapras. I'm going to respond with Beedrill. Beedrill does have a fairly neutral matchup here. We should be able to tank the Surf and then start firing back onto the Lapras. Surf lands, and now I am going to be going for the Drill Run. I'm hoping that the Drill Run plus 3 Poison Jabs is going to be enough to KO. It's going to be close. We are just not able to KO, and I'm forced to fire off an X-Scissor as they had reached another Surf. That will be taking down the Lapras. I'm expecting to get farmed by the Alolan Marowak, but instead they choose to bring in Magneton, and this is an absolute nightmare because Magneton with energy sweeps the entire rest of my team. I bring in the Shadow Pincer. I'm hoping that somehow Pincer can save me here, but there's just no shot. With no win cons left to me, I do the only thing I can do, and I concede the match. Hopping into the final match, picking up a great lead, Lapras into Dugong. Opponent is going to save switch into a Snarl Alolan Muck, and honestly, I don't have a great response to this. So I'm going to stay in with Lapras and tank a move. We do live a Dark Pulse, and then I'm actually going to bait with the Surf. Skull Bash would do quite a bit of damage, so I'm hoping to try and grab a shield here, which we do, and then I can bring in Beedrill. This Alolan Muck is absolutely loaded on energy. I know that I can tank one Dark Pulse. I will shield the first, and then fire off the X-Scissor. This is not going to KO, but I should be able to Poison Jab down and leave with quite a bit of energy. Alolan Muck continues to farm up, and they're going to be firing off the Dark Pulse. Beedrill, thanks to being non-shadow, is going to be able to tank here, and then farm down. This way, I do leave with quite a bit of loaded energy. Back in comes the Dugong, but we should be able to apply a nice amount of damage here. We land one X-Scissor, and I'm able to get to a second at the last second. This is going to be getting that Dugong below half health, and now it should be in Skull Bash range. In comes Lapras, and in the back they have Shadow Hypno. I do hit for super effective damage here with the Shadow Pincer, but these Confusions are doing massive damage. Shadow Confusion is no joke. I am going to commit the shield on the Pincer. We are shielding up the Thunder Punch. Can we get to the X-Scissor? Yes, we can. That is big. This X-Scissor is going to be taking care of the Shadow Hypno. Back in comes the Dugong. They're able to farm down, but I will be able to reach the Skull Bash here. Whatever they throw, they go for the Icy Wind. That will debuff me, but that is still not going to save them from the Skull Bash. Skull Bash taking down the Dugong, and that is a good game. All in all, I had a ton of fun running Shadow Pincer in the Kanto Cup. Shadow Pincer is definitely a mon I would classify as more for fun than for climbing rank. It can be a devastating closer in the right situations, but due to its lack of bulk, even against neutral fast move pressure like you saw in that last match going up against that Shadow Hypno, it just gets absolutely melted. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're enjoying the content, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And a special thank you, as always, to our members here on YouTube. The support you guys provide is absolutely incredible. So thank you guys oh so very much. And until next time, I've been HomeSliceHenry.